Feel it in my bones, I can feel it in my veins. Hands in the sky, I can feel the winds of change. You live and you learn, and I hope I've seen enough to make something right, make up for what I've lost. I was down, but things are looking up. I wanna get high on you, caught by surprise by you. Want you to make my heart feel as much as I know it should. I wanna get high on you, caught by surprise by you. Want you to make my heart feel as much as I know it should. Things turned around, didn't everything be good. I'm done with the bad, need a little bit of good. Settled in the world, like everything is new. Stepped on a path that led me straight to you. I was down, but things are looking up. Caught by surprise by you. Want you to make my heart feel as much as I know it should. Wanna get high on you, caught by surprise by you. Want you to make my heart feel as much as I know it should.
Hold on, let's try this again. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the Morning Night Live. I'm your host, Marty. And it's Friday, and I had a bunch of news links open and stuff, and I'm like, this might be a good day to do an open mic show. And just because things happening in the world, I'm kind of curious of what you people think about some of the things that are going on right now. I just realized you can't see this thing though. Let's see. Hang on a second. But anyway, it's Friday. We're going into the 4th of July weekend, which is a big weekend for a lot of people. I know a lot of people enjoy the extra day off they might be getting on Monday instead of on the 4th. Who knows? Some of you may or may not. I know that I do. Unfortunately, Lady Boomer does not. But, you know, that is what it is. I'd like to hear your ideas of what you're going to be doing on this 4th, why you celebrate it or what you celebrate, what you might do. That'd be interesting. But there's all those things in the news. The big announcement by the Manhattan District Attorney's Office that the CFO, excuse me, of the Trump Organization and the Trump Organization have been indicted. That's probably the appropriate noise for that. Also, what else is happening? Bill Cosby's out of jail. Meghan McCain is leaving The View. Everything I said in the description, which I'm kind of laughing about because I just think it's all kind of funny. But so it's Open Mic Friday, though. I want to hear what you want to talk about. I might have some relative articles to what you're talking about handy because I keep a big old list over here next to me or on this screen. And then on this screen, I can see myself. I'm right there. That's me. And there's the chat right next to me. So you tell me, what do you want to talk about? What do you want to hear? What do you want to say? I want to hear what you have to say about things because it's Friday. So far there's the link in the description. Yes, the link's in the description down below. I will include it in the chat. In fact, let me do this right now. I'm going to put one right there. So if you want to get in line to be on Open Mic Friday, there's the link. And I look forward to talking to you. So anyway, that's what we're doing today. Let's do that opener thing. Play the opener. What's the intro? Yeah. Play the intro, will you? Yeah, now. Yes, now. What do you think? Tomorrow? Now.
Ladies and gentlemen, coming to you live from the Lucky Dog studio in a hidden location somewhere in the upper Midwest of the United States of America, it's a brother making his own way, but with all the wrong opinions. Welcome to the Morning Night Live with your host, yours truly, PDawg Knight.
All right, and we're back. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Morning Night Live. I'm your host, Marty, also known as Dawg Knight on the internet, and welcome back to the Dawg Knight Channel. It is Friday, the 2nd of July, 2020. 2 days until the big Independence Day celebration across this great nation. It's funny. I was watching a video by who's that guy? Mark Dice. And he was out interviewing people in Los Angeles, asking them, why do we celebrate Independence Day? Obviously, he only puts on the ones he has that have no idea. But it is kind of fun to see people having really no idea what Independence Day is about. They didn't even know what year the Declaration of Independence was signed. Weren't too familiar with the people who were a part of it. Even some people didn't even know what country we broke away from in 1776, but not everyone as brilliant as my audience, because I know you all know, at least I assume that. So I'll just run with that. Anyway, happy pre-Independence Day. And if you got an extra day of work off on Monday, more power to you, because I know I do. And I always look forward to that. So what is on your mind today? I want to know. It's Open Mic Friday. You got the link, at least in the chat, at least one time somewhere down there. I know I put it down there, and it'll show up a few more times as the old Streamlabs link pop up. But anyway, and if you would be so kind, while you're thinking about it, or if you're thinking about it, at some point during the show, hit the like button just to let us know that you were a part of history, because every one of my shows is history. And if you would be so kind to share the stream, that's something that really makes it helps the channel. Try to get this channel to grow. It's growing slowly but surely, very organically. We gain a few people each week, and that's great. Someday we'll hit that 10,000 mark, and someday we'll hit that 50,000 mark. Someday we'll hit that 100,000 mark. But we got to hit the 2,000 mark first. So we'll just keep plugging away. I mean, this is only the 615th episode of this show, and I only have about 700 or 800 videos on the channel right now. But I think my next video should be one that you'll want to share. I'm going to talk a little bit about the Star Spangled Banner because there's a little controversy. Again, some controversy about the Star Spangled Banner, and I just need to clear up some of the things that people complain about the Star Spangled Banner, because there was someone who I greatly respect was talking about the third stanza. There's a line in there that people don't seem to be able to appreciate, and because of certain words. And unfortunately, when you try to put modern meaning on words used 200 and some years ago, almost 250 years ago, what are you going to do? But anyway, let's say good morning to everyone in the chat real quick, because I think it's important we say hello. First in the chat today was Cosmic Jerry, who gets the bell. Thank you for being here. Welcome to the show. Now, I'm not even familiar with that name. Have you been here before, out of curiosity? And or you're subscribed and all that stuff? You must be, because you got here as soon as the stream started. So good for you. Also, good morning, Mike Savage, Blarg. Also, good morning, Jonathan Peterson, Select a Boy.
Yeah,
also,
boy.
Good morning, Fox P2, Advocatus Diablo, the Devil's Advocate, Spud Gun. How you doing? Also, good morning to, what the hell's going on here? Hig, how you doing? Are you still in Alabama? Just curious. You and Cindy, hi in the background there. Also, good morning. All You Need is only dropping in for a second, but nice to see you. All You Need. Can't stay for the show, but stopped in to wish a happy 4th to all. Well, thank you very much. I appreciate that. Oh, I was going to do this today. I forgot you could do that with this StreamYards. I can put your chats up on the board, so we'll do a little more of that too. Also, good morning to Attack Alpaca. Good morning to you. Also, Cracked, what's up? My favorite Canadian Jaeger ponies in the house. The Asian Research Director is here. Good morning, DI Freighter Watcher, Don Julio, Gulf City Biker and Trash Man. You keep hitting me with that. Don Kadick has changed his name on YouTube, if you're not sure who that is. And then also, good morning to let's see who else is here. It's harder to scroll when you use this. I should use my regular chat for this. Anyway, hi to y'all. I'm glad you're here. I'm going to check something real quick before I move on, because I just want to make sure I can see the stream over here. I think I'm already live there. Anyway, so let me know what you want to talk about. If you want to join the commentary. Oh, Lord Stanhope's in the house. I see. Also, Sapphire Dragon popped in. Nice to see you all. There is the link to the Open Mic Friday link. If you want to jump in, you don't have to have a camera. You do have to. Oh, good Lord. Yes, Lord Stanhope. On July 4th, 1776, Abraham Lincoln defeated the German army led by Napoleon at the Battle of Pearl Harbor, Pennsylvania. Yes, exactly. That's exactly what happened. That is perfect. And even better than that. So. Oh, that's some funny shit, Bubba. Anyway. So 26 people in the house so far, 18 likes. Hit the like button, and hopefully we'll get some more people jumping in, and hopefully some of you will join the stream. But until then, speaking of Abraham Lincoln, what is this? What is going on here? Hang on a second. There's a little video here on TikTok that someone shared with me. It says college students are out of control. I'm trying to figure out what that means. I need to shut this off, because this is causing my stream to, or my computer to slow down. So we're gonna, there we go. Oh no, it went away. Well, now that bums me out. It was a funny little video. Apparently, Morning Joe got people pissed off too. This morning, and I don't really know what that's about. What the hell happened to that video? Oh, good Lord. Anyway, well, I guess we're not going to watch that video. Anyway, here's before we even get into some of the news, I want to know what some of your plans are for the 4th of July. For the 4th of July weekend. If you hadn't seen the pictures of my patio, by the way, we got our patio finished. Well, okay, wait. So we're building this patio at my home, right? And it looks beautiful. I'm so happy with it because we, went out and got some flagstone and a whole bunch of other materials to make a patio, right? Get the C5, packed C5 underneath. We got 6 inches of C5 packed underneath. We had to dig a big old hole, big 8-inch deep hole. Rented a rear tiller, tilled up all this dirt behind our sliding glass doors, and then had some of my son's friends. They all dug it out, and then we filled it with C5, packed that real good. Then 2 inches of crushed granite chips. We used granite chips and put 2 inches layer of that. Then we laid all the flagstone on top, then got that all leveled, and then I had to power wash every single flagstone, and then we had to fill in with the more granite chips all around. So I will show you a picture if I can find where here you go. In fact, here I'll show you the pictures. Here's this is what the finished product looks like. Okay, we got this. Oh, hang on, where's that picture? Put that picture back up. All right, so here's the finished product. I don't think I have it all. Let's see. Here it is. Hang on a second. How do I share my screen? And I will always do it with this. So here. Oh, good Lord. Here we go. Well, come the hell on. There we go. So there's the finished product. Okay, and this is our flagstone patio we built in the back of our house, and it looks great. We're couldn't be happier with how this turned out, right? And so here's another view here. Oh, my computer's going so slow. I have too much stuff running right now because I have Streamlabs running open here. And there it is, looking, nice looking patio there, right? Nice looking stuff, huh? Good. And looks like kind of the patterns of the flagstone are really nice. We really like that, okay? And so as I'm looking at these pictures, I'm realizing, okay, that looks great, but now I think I have to do some other landscaping. I'm like, oh no. As I'm looking at it, I'm just thinking, okay, yeah, that looks great. But I need, now those stairs aren't going to be the real stairs. We're getting these giant blocks of the same type of stone that matches that. And it's going to go up to that door. But then I'm like, well, but wait, now I'm going to have to make a pathway down the side of the retaining wall to match so you can get down to the pool, and then you got to make a new pathway going from the gate to there to match. And I'm like, oh, what have I done? We're gonna have to do all this extra stuff. And then now my wife, she even wants to make a separate pad. She even wants to make a separate pad for our grill instead of just putting the grill over here in the corner somewhere. You can't see you can't really, there it is. I want to just put the grill there, But she's like, no, let's make a separate pad, because I have the grill back here over in the corner by the fireplace right now, because we have a door coming out from the garage, and I can grill just going out through the garage all winter long. Now she wants to put a pad for the grill here, and then we got to put a pathway down here. And I'm just like, oh, good Lord. This is just the beginning of schlepping rocks and stones and just all kinds of stuff forever. But anyway, that's just how it goes. Anyway, good morning, furry kitten, by the way. Hello, Thomas Cleaver. Nice to see you. Who else has shown up while I was dinking around there? I think I said hi to Sapphire Dragon already, and Lord Stanhope, what's happening? I think I just said that, didn't I? Rod Line, what's happening? Good morning, Silver. Chadwick Dupree, Pissed Off Shih Tzu, and welcome everybody. So, what are you doing? If you are an American, or even if you're not, I don't know if people outside the United States ever just celebrate. Like, do you think the people of Great Britain celebrate the 4th of July just as a sigh of relief that you don't have to deal with us anymore? I'm just curious. But Americans, what are you doing for the 4th of July? I know that we were going to go to Omaha, but that had to change because we had to go to because we figured out, oh wait, I have to work today. Lady Boomer has to work on Monday. We thought Lady Boomer had Monday off. We didn't think her clinic that she works in would be open, but they're like, oh no, we're going to be open just like normal. And so she's going to have to go in Monday. So you know how it goes. You just end up. Oh, here's the other thing I want to do. Oh, wait, let me show you this again. The only thing that's missing here is right down here. There's a space between the pool and the retaining wall, or excuse me, between the patio and the retaining wall. I want to put a fire pit there. Wouldn't that be a great place for a fire pit? Like right here or somewhere, maybe over here, because this is just some grass over here, and then there's a retaining wall down here, and then it goes down to the pool. But I'm thinking about maybe putting a firewall there. That would be kind of cool, wouldn't it? Anyway. All right. Rod Line, thank you. First sponsor of the show today with the $2.99. It says, where's the gazebo and built-in stone grill? Listen. Rod, Lady Boomer just might be paying attention to this, okay? I would like you to stop talking right now. Anyway, Justin Anderson. Hey, here's someone doing something here. Justin Anderson, for the 4th of July, by the way, good morning, is going to be blowing shit up and barbecuing with my family and in-laws. Well, there you go. That sounds like a hell of a lot of fun. We're saving our blowing shit up for next weekend when we go to visit our friends up north, and my son and all his friends all go up there at the same time, and they do the blowing shit up thing, which for those of you who are not Americans, that just means we're going to set off a bunch of fireworks. So that's cool. Someone said, whenever I hear Omaha, here we go. Whenever I hear Omaha, I think Strategic Air Command. Hearing that, an idea of 4th of July celebrations are some very big excessive fireworks, maybe on Frenchman's Flats. You know what? That's where I grew up, in the Strategic Air Command, which is in Bellevue, Nebraska, which is a kind of a southern suburb of Omaha. But don't ever tell someone from Bellevue they're a suburb of Omaha, because they'll be like, no, we're not. But anyway, the Strategic Air Command is where the 24-hour flying fortress or something like that. They had the planes that are up in the air 24/7. They used to base out of Omaha at the Strategic Air Command. I think Omaha was chosen because just it's completely central, almost not near center point of the country, but it's close, where, as far as reachable through air, they would have time to, to do things, whatever. Anyway, good morning, Chris Jones. Thank you. You say Chris Jones agrees that a fire pit would look nice. Yes, I think so. I agree with you. Yeah, Rod, I see you down there. Laughing. I got some for you. Good morning to the gayest person on YouTube. And nice to have you in the chat again, who says, people always say don't lose a finger with fireworks, but they don't realize it's the reason we have 10 of them. Yeah, you gotta have it's always good to have an extra finger or two that you can so you have some room too. Oh my gosh. Anyway, yeah, we want to take care of your fingers. Here's my prayer for everyone who watches the show today, that you come back between Monday and Tuesday or whenever you go back to work, that with all of your fingers. That would be a fantastic thing to have. All right. Thank you so much to the gayest person on YouTube. So anyway, I do have my cup of reparations here. I got the Big Daddy cup going here, and boy, do I need it. Anyway, anyone else got plans for the 4th? I'm trying to look here. Moonbase Radio, just don't barbecue the in-laws. That's a pretty good idea. That's a solid plan. Do not barbecue the in-laws. Unfortunately, my father-in-law passed away just over a year ago. But my mother-in-law is still around, and we love my mother-in-law. She's great. We hang out with her quite a bit. And then and my mother's still around, so we get to see her every once in a while. 2 words for you. Oh, here's a good 4th of July plan. 2 words for you, PDawgKnight. Hot tub. Just don't push that one button in the hot tub, because you might end up at a different time and place. So there you go. Chris Jones, going to my grandpa's out in the country, have barbecue and do fireworks. Yeah, fireworks is the fun thing, especially if you live in a state that sells the fun fireworks. Now, the state I live in, we do not have the super fun fireworks. However, Wisconsin does, and North Dakota does. So from my side of the state, which is near Wisconsin, we usually drive into Wisconsin. And again, we don't. The other thing too is we don't really do the fireworks thing here in the Twin Cities area. We go up to our friend's cabin in the lake, and we do them up there, because everyone around the lake is blowing off fireworks that they either got from Wisconsin or North Dakota. Because I think, doesn't North Dakota really sell the crazy fireworks? I can't remember, but. Anyway, let's do this. We have our first guest today, and that would be our friend Cannon Hotep, who we'd love to see come on the show. And there we go. Good morning, Cannon Hotep. What's up, my brother?
Nothing much was going on, man.
Hey, not a whole lot. I saw your the video you made last night about Bill Cosby, what might have been the most succinct and factual account of what happened. People lose their minds on both sides of that one, and I think none of them really have a reason to do that. But
That's true.
I'm not sure if that's what you came to talk about, but you tell me what you want to talk about today, my friend.
No, I was saying, I like that patio, man. See, I went the cheap route. I got stamped concrete.
Oh, you know what though? Here's the thing. I'm going to bet you that your stamped concrete costs more than flagstone.
I don't know. So I think I paid, probably around, I think $5K. It was an 18 by 12.
Okay. Now the thing is, I cheated a little bit. See, because my son, who used to our house was the hub when he was in high school. So all his friends were always in my basement. There's a minimum of 10 kids in my basement year round.
So they owe you.
And even during college, they'd come home, my basement. So one of them is a foreman on a landscaping crew. And my wife called or sent out a text, because my wife has all their phone numbers. She sent out a group text to 8 people. Here, hang on a second. We got to go through them. Sent out a text to 8 people, and 7 of them said, "Yeah, we'll come by." And they picked a date. The guy, so I got all the labor for free, or did a lot of it myself. So really, we only ended up paying for the flagstone. We only ended up paying for materials. So we got this one done for about $4,000.
Oh, so. See, there you go. You did most of the work. See, I did none of my work.
There you go. So
I hired somebody to do that.
Right?
Yeah, I wasn't. Yeah, I tried to do one bathroom on my own, and I was like, you know what? I'll leave it to the professionals.
Right.
And that's what it is. But
hey,
go ahead.
Hey, real quick, I just say thank you, Higadoom, aka Hig from who's hanging out in Alabama, who says, "Where's the sacrificial altar to the great Cthulhu going up?" There's not going to be no sacrificial altar, no gazebos, maybe a fire pit. All right, let's talk to Cannon Hotep now. What you got going, my man?
No, so I saw, I guess, I don't know if you're going to touch on it today or not. I guess the Biden administration put out some kind of like memorandum about the 4th of July, talking about how like meat prices and stuff was lower than last year. And I'm just sitting there looking at it. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. I just paid $130 for a slab of New York strip when last year they cost me $50.
Oh my gosh, I know.
You know, I'm like, where's it cheap at? Like, I don't get it. Like, no, we got a chicken shortage. You know, hot dogs even went up. How hot dogs go up? You know what I mean? I
Dude,
just laugh.
You hit that right. No, I didn't hear about that. And by the way, I'm talking about what you want to talk about. So no, I bought even at Sam's Club, I bought 4 New York strips because we were feeding the couple guys that came a second day. And I was like, wait a minute, this costs half of what it did, or twice as what it did last year. Beef prices are out of this world.
Yeah.
Chicken prices are way up. Now pork you can still get for reasonable price. You can still get like some seafood, but no, what was he talking about?
I have no clue. It's ridiculous. I'm like, these are the most out of touch people in the world. Like, no, like people gonna be having these forfeits. Like you said, it's probably mostly pork and probably some other like the cheaper seafoods this year for 4th of July. Like,
Yeah.
you know, unless you making 6 figures or more, you ain't gotta feed a whole lot of people. You're gonna kick out a bunch of money. I know. I went to the market because I planned on breaking my patio in this weekend, but I got family that invited us out. So I was like, well, let me not mess my house up. I'll come to your house. But I went and I bought a bunch of ribs and stuff. I was just sitting there like, yo, I bought the slab of New York strip, and I'm like, man, I can only imagine. So I'm looking for burgers at the roof, stuff like that. But I was like, well, I'm gonna just have to make some ribs and maybe a pork shoulder or something like that. But I'm like, the prices are astronomical, and I don't know how they're just out of touch. It's ridiculous to me.
Yeah. Now let me add, so you're not having people over then? Are you
So I
planned.
Yeah, so I planned on it. So now I just got a deep freezer full of pork. But my wife, she told me yesterday, she was like, my cousins, they want us to come over on Saturday. Your mom's having something Saturday, and then this cousin's having something Sunday. We're supposed to go. I was like, well, all right, well then I'm going to just hold tight then. Put the stuff in the freezer, keep it in there. We'll break it in another day.
Yeah. So the other thing I was going to ask you about, because I like I said, I saw your video. You had give the people the Reader's Digest. Wait, did you do a separate video on that on your channel, or did you just do that on Hotep's Been Told You? Because I saw.
Oh no, it'll be posted on my channel today. I just I've been up ripping and running since about 5 o'clock this morning. But yeah, it's gonna be posted. So basically, I did a video yesterday as a segment for Hotep's Been Told You on Bill Cosby, and him getting out of jail. So the gist of it is, the reason why he got out of jail is what happened? I'm drawing a blank. Jeez. Oh, so
That
2005. So 2005, it was a civil suit. One of his accusers brought a civil suit against Cosby. And the reason why she brought that civil suit is because the prosecutor or the district attorney said that, I don't think we got enough to bring him up on criminal charges. But in the civil suit, he has to answer the questions. He can't plead the fifth in this civil suit. And like I was saying in the video, it's like, dang, if he can't plead the fifth and he got to answer these questions, if he incriminate himself, that's a wrap for him later on down the road. But he brokered a deal with the district attorney where they said that they would not use any of that affidavit or any of those questions or answers that he gives to those questions against him later in any other trial. So fast forward, he's on trial in 2018 or 2017. They use that very affidavit, those very answers that he gave in 2005 to prosecute and convict him. Now, they wasn't supposed to do that because he had a deal with the district attorney, but turns out the new district attorney was like, well, this isn't legally binding. There's no signatures. There's nothing drawn up, blah, 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 blah. So Cosby goes to jail. Now, his lawyers were smart. They were like, wait a minute. you guys had a verbal agreement. This verbal agreement, I guess particularly in Pennsylvania, the verbal agreement is legally binding. So through that loophole, I didn't even call it a loophole. Just through them having a verbal contract, they had to honor that. So they had to let Cosby out. So whether you thought he did it or not, the law states that contract he had with the previous district attorney is legally binding, whether it was in writing or verbally. So they had to let him out of jail. Now, the crazy part to me is that he was found guilty by a jury. So even though this still technically overturns that guilty verdict, he still admitted to doing what he did. Now, like Uncle Hotep said yesterday, and I said the same thing in my video, he said it was the 70s. We was all doing drugs.
Everybody was.
So, in my opinion, I'm like, I think a lot of these women knew they was getting Quaaludes and whatever else they were using back then. I know in his stand-up, like when I used to watch his stand-up, like, back when I was like a teenager, he was talking about Spanish fly and giving girls Spanish fly. So, and he would say this in his stand-up, and people be slapping their knee, teeth falling out their mouth, laughing so hard at those jokes. And now everybody's looking back at it like, oh, I can't believe this. I'm like, but you guys were laughing at this the whole time. He was saying it all of the time, And I'm like, but this was the 70s. They were doing, everybody was doing drugs in the 70s. So I think that these women, I'm gonna say a lot, I'm gonna say every woman, but a lot of those women knew what the deal was. I think a lot of women were up to doing those drugs, and they did those drugs, and some things happened that they regretted, and they thought they could probably get a payday off of it. Now, I'm not going to say that that's every woman. Me personally, I don't think that was, I guess, an upstanding thing to do, I guess you could say. But, that's Hollywood, so who knows? But him getting out of jail wasn't because, he was innocent or he was guilty. He got out of jail because the state did some shady stuff. They railroaded him.
Right. Yeah, it was not like he's it's not like he pulled a Roman Polanski.
Right, exactly. And then haul ass out of the country so he's not prosecuted. Yeah, right. Now that's just, but nobody ever brings stuff like that up. They want to go after Bill Cosby's neck. And I'm like, you guys, to me personally, it's just like, you guys are just following the trend, but you don't want to talk about the Roman Polanskis of the world. You don't want to talk about the Harvey Weinsteins. You don't want to talk about the Dan Schneiders from Nickelodeon, who doing these heinous things. Well,
it's funny because if you saw Weinstein, people talk about Harvey Weinstein. They'll talk about him like a dog, which he kind of was. But now he's out there saying, "Oh well, Cosby got out. Maybe we should relook at my case." But no. Those are two completely different reasons why he would have gotten out and you wouldn't have. Which, if he, his testimony back in what was it 2015?
Yeah, I think it was like 27, 20. Yeah, I think like 2015, 2016, something like that.
Something like that. If that's the reason the jury found him guilty, that he kind of said he did it, but it kind of said,
he said, yeah, I did it, but
it was a whole different era. Yeah, it was a whole different era how people dealt with each other. So
exactly, it was that free love, the free love era, and all that other stuff. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, and I'm not trying to throw Cosby no bail, because only the women really know what happened. Only he knows what happened, but at the same time, you got to respect the process of the law. He went through with the civil suit. He wasn't supposed to be. I guess he was supposed to be prosecuted based on those proceedings or what he said in those proceedings, and they did it anyway, just to get like a gotcha thing on Cosby. And they were wrong for that. The state was wrong, and he won. Like I said, he got the L back through a loophole.
Right.
And now he's a free man.
And that is the biggest challenge about it, trying to try him on any of the accusers is there is no evidence. It's strictly going to be on testimony. And so that's, and whether if he did or not, how do you go about proving it? I was watching some people on Twitter, some women on Twitter are saying, well, this is why people never come forward. Well, how do you come forward on something that's 20, 30 years ago, 40 years ago?
Exactly. And I was saying the same thing when all this was happening. This was before I even started doing anything on YouTube and Twitter. I was like, they're going off of hearsay, essentially. And I said, okay, so if you just convicted this man on hearsay, when he goes to try to prove his innocence in an appeal, that same lack of evidence you just convicted him on will be the same lack of evidence that won't get him off on an appeal.
Well, I don't know if you should use that terminology. I'm just the one.
Pause. I'm sorry about that,
guys. Sorry, I threw you off there. I didn't mean to throw you off.
For lack of a better term, guys. For lack of a better term.
Yes. All right, man.
Yeah, but it's I don't know. I mean, more power to him. He got off on it. The people, like I said, the people that are upset, hey, that was the system working. The people that was pro Cosby and that thought he got railroaded, hey, that's the system working.
Right. So, anything else you got?
Nope, that's it, man. Have a happy 4th. Enjoy that new patio.
All right. Well, thank you. We'll have the next thing I'm probably going to be looking at is this Trump organization indictment, but I got to read up on that first.
Yeah, I'll be listening in on that. I'll probably be reading up on that too. I heard something about it. I just haven't had a chance to research it yet.
All right, man. Well, happy July 10th.
Right. Happy White History Month, everybody. Go kiss a white person and tell them you love them.
All right, man. All right. Thanks for coming on. All right, man. So anyway, that's a little joke from the Hotep Been Told You show last night. Apparently, Jesse Lee Peterson, about 4 years ago, if you know who Jesse Lee Peterson is, declared that July is White History Month. And they were cracking jokes about that last night on their show. And then also the some people were referring to July as July 10th. So that was pretty funny. Anyway, real quick, good morning, Trideos. How you doing, my friend? And also, hello, Legit Low Talker. Nice to see you in the chat. I appreciate you. All right, folks, 40 people in the house right now. If you're working, lurking, driving or thriving, please be careful. Don't take your eyes off the road, but I appreciate you being here. And also, if you like what we do, hit the like button. You know what I mean? Share the stream, do all that stuff. We're trying to grow. So anyway, White Boy Summer. It is White Boy Summer, along with White History Month. Thanks to the Honorable Jesse Lee Peterson. All right. So again, if you would like to jump into the on the mic today, if you have something that you particularly would like to talk about, the link, I just popped that into the chat again. It'll pop in there every once in a while via StreamYards. Also, good morning, Tyler F. Nice to see you. So the big thing right now that's trending on Twitter, one of the big things. Oh, well, it looks like they took it off the top of the list here. The Biden administration, or not the Biden administration, I'm sorry, the Trump organization has been indicted, as well as their CFO. Let's see, what's his name? Weisberg. Let me go into the trending tab here, because it was everyone's so excited that Trump's organization has been indicted. And let's see if it's still trending at the top. No, Olympics are trending. Because U.S. sprinter Sha'Carri Richardson cannot compete in the Olympic 100-meter race after testing positive for THC. Was she out there smoking some weed? I don't know. Good morning, infamous one. So here it is trending. Where is it at here? Let me share this on the screen. Give me a second. I don't know why this takes so long on here now. There we go. Good Lord. It's because I have too many things moving that are on my computer right now. I have Streamlabs, I have a YouTube window open, I have a YouTube chat open. Anyway, U.S. sprinter Sha'Carri Richardson cannot compete in the Olympic 100-meter race after testing positive for THP. She qualified for the 2020 Olympics after running a 100-meter race in 10.86 seconds last month, but she's been suspended for 30 days following a drug test that came back positive for THC, a chemical found in marijuana. Richardson accepted her suspension that ends July 27th, which would be in time to run in the women's relays, but USA Track and Field have not disclosed plans, according to the Associated Press. Don't judge me because I am human. I'm you. I just happen to run a little faster. Richardson told you today's Savannah Guthrie in an interview Friday morning where she explained her actions. Now, it just seems to me, and I'm not going to start singing, sings that song. Seems to me, down, it seems to me. Is that Dawg Knight? No, it's someone else. Anyway, it just seems to me. Now, why would they care about? No, she's she. Did I say she? What did I say? Did I say he? She. Why would they care for a sprinter taking THC? Wouldn't THC slow you down instead of speed you up? It just makes you seem like the world's going slower, but I don't think it'd make you run faster. Anyway, that's unfortunate. She was kind of the star of the show. The U.S. Anti-Doping Agency said that Sha'Carri Richardson's suspension began on June 28th. It was reduced to 1 month because her use of cannabis occurred out of competition and was unrelated to her performance at the trials. Oh, so she's banned. This is not an Olympic ban. This is just the U.S. Track and Field doing that. Interesting. Well, here's our interview with Savannah. How long is this thing? This format. Let's go through. Should we talk to her? Now, she's the one who likes to change her hair colors quite a bit. This is Savannah Guthrie. I'm not going to play that. Anyway, that's unfortunate. She's quite the star right now. Anyway, all right. But let's talk about the Trump organization. Someone here said something about this. Hang on a second. If she was a 30-year-old female with a beard and a peen, she would not have got tested. That's true, because she would have only had to have. She would have only had to have. They're not testing them as long as their levels are the right for a year, and then they won't test them anymore. And that's so that could be true. Are they wigs? Yeah, they probably are wigs. You know me. I don't pay attention to hair hats. Good morning, MC.
Hammer time.
Okay, who else has I got here? The James Gang saying that. Okay, thank you, Avocados Diablo. I couldn't remember the name of the band that did that. No, she's singularly unattractive. You know what? It's not that she's unattractive. She just puts the weird wigs on and the fake eyelashes. But when she doesn't have that on, she actually is a nice looking young lady. She just has that. I don't know what fascination with the eyelashes are. You see, I mean, now here, even here, you can tell that she is. I don't know if you can see that picture, but she's not unattractive. It's just she's the thing with I don't know what the thing with the eyelashes are. What is the thing with the eyelashes? I see women wearing these. I mean, they look like they're putting an extra hand on top of their eyes. Wait, what the hell did I do there? No, I don't want to do that. There we go. Looks like they're putting an extra hand in their eyes. The eyelashes are so long sometimes. It's so weird. I don't get it. So anyway, where are we at here? So the Trump organization, not the Trump administration, not Donald Trump himself. Donald Trump's not being indicted. But here's what I think what's happening with this indictment. In fact, let me find that again. I was so hang on, where is it? Why is this not working? Good Lord, this is slow. Give me a moment, please. Almost looks like Vivica Fox, but a little bit less. What's a good word? What is the word I'm trying to come up with that doesn't sound completely out of hand? Oh, well, slightly less voluptuous. Let's put it that way. Okay, here we go. Trump Organization and CFO charged with tax crimes. I'll put it on the screen. Very Bill Clinton-esque. In fact, we'll make it so you can see it a little better. The Trump Organization and CFO charged with tax crimes. The Trump Organization and its chief financial officer, Alan Weisselberg, were charged on Thursday with tax crimes. The Associated Press reports. The charges are a culmination of a 2-year investigation by Manhattan prosecutors into the former President Donald Trump's company. Both Weisselberg and lawyers for the Trump organizations pleaded not guilty. Breaking. Manhattan DA Cyrus Vance has charged the Trump Organization and its longtime CFO, Alan Weisselberg, with tax fraud, according to an indictment unsealed Thursday. Breaking. This political breaking. The Trump Organization is officially indicted. Prosecutors charged the business empire and its CFO with a number of tax-focused crimes. So here's a statement from AG, New York Attorney General James. Today, and this is a Letitia James, who ran on, both she and Vance ran on a platform that they were going to indict Donald Trump for something. Anything. Letitia James says, today is an important marker in the ongoing criminal investigation of the Trump Organization and its CFO, Alan Weisselberg. This investigation will continue. Here's the full statement, if it'll ever pop up on my screen here. Everything's going slow today. New York Attorney General Letitia James today released the following statement regarding the criminal indictment of Trump Corporation and the Trump Payroll Corporation, together doing business as the Trump Organization, as well as Trump Organization Chief Financial Officer Alan Weisselberg on multiple criminal charges. I already read that part. In the indictment, we allege, among other things, financial wrongdoing whereby the Trump Organization engaged in a scheme with Mr. Weisselberg to avoid paying taxes on certain compensation. This investigation will continue, and we will follow the facts and the law wherever they may lead. The charges relate to the alleged failure by Weisselberg to pay New York state and federal income taxes on approximately $1.7 million in compensation. This is part of an ongoing criminal investigation conducted by Attorney General James and Manhattan District Attorney Cyrus Vance Jr. Now, I know that part of this had to do with something about paying Weisselberg's kids or grandkids college tuition. Let's see what the AP says. Let's look at the AP article real quick. Donald Trump's company and its longtime financial chief were charged Thursday in what prosecutors called a sweeping and audacious tax fraud scheme in which the executive collected more than $1.7 million in off the books, get that shit off my screen, off the books compensation, including apartment rent, car payments, and school tuition. Okay. Trump himself was not charged with any wrongdoing, but prosecutors noted he signed some of the checks. At the center of the case. And one top prosecutor said a 15-year scheme was orchestrated by the most senior executives at the Trump organization. So I got a question. The question that immediately comes to mind is, just Weiselberg, the chief financial officer, just him? And if it's just him and he's the chief financial officer, and and the other part, and the part where they say some of the checks at the center of the case were signed by Donald Trump himself. You really? So I got a question for you. If any of you work for a really, really, really large company, I mean, a really big company, lots of people, lots of officers and all that shit. First of all, I don't know if you even get I don't even get I get direct deposit, but on the checks that they send you out that has a signature on them, are those signatures the actual signature of the person that's at the top who's supposed to, if you work for Microsoft, is the Bill Gates signature on your check actually written by Bill Gates? Or is it just one of those, printed things that they, bam, put it on the check? I'm just curious. I don't know. Donald Trump personally signs the checks for the people at his company. That's weird. Anyway, it is and I love how they say this too. This is the next line. It is the first criminal case to come out New York authorities' 2-year investigation into the former president's business dealing. Well, yeah, if it's the only one, that's the first, right? So it's the first, as is, are you expecting multiple? And this is the CFO, right? Here's what, let me get into this. According to the indictment from 2005 through this year, the Trump Organization and Chief Financial Officer Alan Weiselberg cheated tax authorities by conspiring to pay senior executives off the books by way of lucrative fringe benefits and other means. Are lucrative fringe benefits legal? That's probably the more important question, right? I'm just asking the questions. And that's certainly the questions that the lawyers will be asking. Weiselberg alone. So is it multiple senior executives? And who controls this? He's the chief financial officer. So Weiselberg, chief financial officer, is the one who did this. I don't know. They know they want to get Trump so bad. They really want him bad. They want him bad. Okay. Weiselberg alone was accused of defrauding the federal government, state and city, out of more than $900,000 in unpaid taxes and undeserved tax refunds. The most serious charge against Weiselberg, grand larceny. Grand larceny. So they're saying that he stole. Wait a minute. Wait, hold on. Grand larceny. Isn't larceny that means you stole from somebody, like the company? I don't know. Hello, why are you so angry? There are many worms that eat heart and lungs. Ivermectin kills them. When are you, Fauci and China put them in the virus? Thank you. Okay. MC, I do see you there waiting on the line. I'll have you in here in a second. Both. Okay. So wait a minute. This, hang on a second. So the tax fraud charges against the company are punishable by a fine of double the amount of unpaid taxes or $250,000, whichever is larger. So wait a minute. Okay. Weiselberg alone is accused of defrauding the federal government, state cities about more than $900,000 in unpaid taxes or undeserved tax refunds. The most serious charge against Weiselberg, grand larceny, carries a 5 to 15 years in prison. The tax fraud charges against the company are punishable by a fine of double the amount of unpaid taxes or $250,000, whatever is larger. Now, I'm curious. So the compensation, so the only unpaid taxes you would think on compensation to a officer for the company. Why would the company be paying taxes against, unless you're talking about like, Social Security taxes, which can't be that much, even on $1.7 million, because there's a cap on how much you can pay on Social Security taxes. But, and so the company, it's punishable by a fine. Okay. I'm curious. He stole his own money. No. Did he steal money? My question, Avocado Diablo, did he steal money from the Trump organization? Not Trump, but Weiselberg? That would be the grand larceny, wouldn't it? If they're saying he stole money from the Trump organization, that's a stretch. I mean, if they're saying that he got compensation in the form of benefits versus actual actual compensation and should pay tax on that, wouldn't that normally just be a fine and you pay the taxes? Unless he's the one who maybe masterminded a scheme, so to speak. That's what they're calling it. Good morning, Humble Clay, I mean. Anyway, both Weiselberg and lawyers for the Trump organization pleaded not guilty. Weiselberg was ordered to surrender his passport and was released without bail, leaving the courthouse without comment. In a statement, Trump condemned the case as a political witch hunt by the radical left Democrats. Weiselberg's lawyers said he will fight these charges. The case is being led by Manhattan District Attorney Cyrus Vance Jr. and New York Attorney General Letitia James. Both Democrats. Vance has been investigating a wide range of matters involving Trump and the Trump organization, and it's come up zero so far, except for this, obviously, such as hush money payments made to women on Trump's behalf, and whether the company falsified the value of its property to obtain loans or reduce its tax bills. Now, that funny on that, the falsified the value of his property to obtain loans. You know what? Banks don't lend on what you say your property is worth. They lend you money based on what they say your property is worth, using appraisers and business, whatever, business analysis and things like that. So so unless he's saying to reduce its tax bills, that's possible. But anyway, the news comes as Trump has been seriously discussing possible comeback run for president 2024. He has ramped up his public appearances, including holding his first rallies since leaving the White House. So, and there's more in that article. I'll have it in the tab and down below, but whatever. Anyway, let's say good morning to our friend. Hang on a second here. Let me get rid of this. How do you hear this? Oh, stop this. Hang on. I'm still learning. All right, let's say good morning to our friend MC.
Stop. Hammer time.
Good morning. How are you?
Good morning, P-Dawg. How are you?
I'm freaking fantastic. Does that ever get old for you?
No, that's fine.
Okay, good. That was the first time I saw you on the chat. I'm like MC Hammer, MC Light, MC, young MC. I was trying to think of the one, and Hammer Time just fit perfectly. Anyway,
I used to go by a moniker MCJK, but that was too hard for people to actually say when I had them on the stream. So I said, you know what? I'll just shorten it to MC. That makes it easier. I didn't even think about anything else that it could have been a part of.
Well, there you go. I have stamped you forever.
Yes, you have.
All right. Hey, what do you want to talk about, my friend? Oh, go ahead.
Well, first of all, you started. There's a couple things actually. The first one is we'll go back to this story you just did, right? Okay. Where they're accusing this guy. Well, he's the CFO of Trump, and let's be honest. The whole purpose of them trying to charge this guy is just so he's got to have dirt on Trump. We can use somewhere, right? We got to get him to flip. That's the pressure that they're trying.
What's the phrase they like to use? Flip and
tell. I don't know.
Flip and sing. That was the big thing a few years ago. Oh, this one's gonna flip. Because all the news pundits are using it. Oh, he's gonna flip and sing.
Yeah, nothing's going to happen with this. All right. And if anybody doesn't understand this, if this is such a serious matter that everybody's talking about, get in your Wayback Machine. Travel back to the past. Yes, back to the 2000s. And you will find this same thing being pled guilty to by a certain leader of the Democrats in the Senate, all right, who had been up for a position in the Obama administration named Tom Daschle.
Right.
Where he admitted to all sorts of quote unquote perks, only this one from the government and quote unquote lobbyists that he didn't put on his taxes.
Yeah, I remember that.
All right. So if Tom Daschle walked away with a, oh, here's your fine, is this really going to be anything serious?
Well, here's the problem. Here's the problem. I'm going to give you a problem here.
Yeah.
This is New York. And now, granted, you can get like they say, you can get a grand jury to indict a ham sandwich, but the prosecutors want to go full ham. I think though, this is gonna. I think they're gonna get the eggs instead, though.
Yeah, I think they're gonna get hammered with this because, quite frankly, yeah, it is New York, but it's also something that's well done.
Mm-hmm.
And that's flipping sing. La, 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 la. Anyway, the scene that goes on. The other thing I wanted to talk about was the NSA thing.
Okay.
The NSA thing. Now, there's some things that I think people miss. First of all, when the NSA gets accused of things, if you've ever noticed until recently, the NSA says no comment. It's only recent that you're actually seeing anything from the NSA with any of this. All right. Mm-hmm. And the thing again with Tucker Carlson, if you read their statement, okay, it is so parsed, and it's parsed because they are saying we didn't do this, okay, not that we didn't allow other individuals or other agencies to use our assets.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And this is one of the problems with the Patriot Act is the Patriot Act allows the FBI and the CIA, all right, to direct targeting from the NSA now. Okay. This is where the problem is. This is why the NSA said, no, we're not targeting them. They're not lying.
Right.
They're not targeting them. All right. But it's not meaning that their assets aren't being used to target. Their information, their surveillance capabilities are not being utilized by other people and directed toward the U.S. civilian. That's why people need to understand where the problem here is. And finally, Tucker got to the point where he asked, who directed this? We hear all about these whistleblowers left and right. You've heard about Snowden. Everybody talks about how great Snowden is. Everybody talks about how great a job that Julian Assange did. Okay, you can believe that if you want to. All right? I don't consider either one of them heroes. All right, but you can talk about that. But let me ask you a question: who went to jail for any of the malfeasance that they supposedly outed?
Right.
Who was ever held accountable for any of this? Now, Snowden directly said that there were people he knew personally, all right, that were listening in on their girlfriends' conversations and so forth. Okay, well, why didn't you give us their names? All right, you could put this out there and say this person did this directly. It could be looked into, and that person could go to jail. How come you're not naming names here? Where are the names of these people that are committing these crimes? And the same thing applies to this. Somebody sit up there and ordered Tucker Carlson's data to be retrievable and to be looked at, right? Okay, yeah. Who? You're saying that the NSA is doing this, but it's just a faceless organization and nobody's held accountable. We're gonna have to at some point start holding people accountable for their malfeasance, people directly with this. That was the one point I wanted to make with this.
Well, they held Kleinsmith accountable.
Well, let's see here. We're going to falsify government documents. We're going to go after somebody on a legal basis here. Probation? Okay. Yeah. No, I'll never do it again. I promise, P-Dawg. I'll never do it again.
And well, and then he had to give up his legal practice for, but they dated it back to when he originally
a backdated legal practice.
Yeah, they
tell me how that works.
Oh, backdated to when he originally said that he pled guilty, and they say, well, because he wasn't practicing law, we'll count that as time. It's like, and so his suspension from practicing whatever law ends July 15th of this year.
Oh. So it's not even a revocation, it's a suspension.
It's a suspension, but really in practice, because he hasn't been practicing law during this process, it's about a 20-day suspension, basically. I mean, granted, he committed and admitted to committing felonies, and he's allowed to practice law in the country. Yes. Yes, isn't that amazing? So, that's quite the punishment that was handed out. Yeah, you would think for something like that, you'd be banned from practicing law forever. You'd think you lied to a FISA court, and I don't care if you thought the bullshit that he says. Well, I thought it was true, so I changed it. Well, why would you change it? If you thought it was true. Why would you change something if you thought it was true? No, he said he thought what he changed was true. So he changed it to materially say something else because I believed that what I changed it to was correct. On what evidence? Right. Just I thought it was. I don't know. Didn't they also doctor some other records that his? Didn't he also change some other records? Yeah, he knew very well that this was not this. This was all a fraud to begin with, right? And everybody knows it. Anybody who has any kind of common sense knows this stuff. And you can take a look at it. This is why people like Christopher Wray, this is why people like Comey, they need to go to jail for this. This is criminal activity. Yeah, but they are the swamp. They are the swamp. And nothing's going to happen to any of them, and they're going to continue to. I mean, they're still even. Well, if it continues, what's going to happen is the divide within the country is going to get worse. It's not going to get better because that's where the divide is really being focused around. Whether anyone wants to admit this or not, the bifurcation or the partisanship that's happening in the country is because both sides are saying the other side is not being held accountable, all right, for something. Right, that the legal system, the judicial system is not working, and I would have to admit, I don't have to agree with that. Of course, I've been complaining about the judicial system for a while now, but who is really telling that story though? I mean, unless that's the kind of stuff you pay attention to, most people have no idea what's going on. Like I said, I watched that video this morning of Dice interviewing people out in California. They don't even know what year Independence Day started. They don't even know it was 1776. I mean, most people just have no clue what's happening in the world. Yeah, that's very true. Well, that's to some degree that's typical of Americans anyway. All right. Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, because Americans tend to not look backwards. They tend to be Americans tend to want to go on with their lives. I'm focusing on my lives. I'm focusing forward. I don't want to see what's going on around me. I put those, those blinders on so I can focus on where I want to be without stepping back and saying, okay, what's going to happen here? Right. So when we get set, when things happen, I had a friend of mine who ended up, like I did, getting recalled back into the military and sent over to play in the sandbox. Right. He was paying six figures in taxes. Okay, that's his taxes. Mm-hmm. Okay, when he got ordered back on active duty. All right, so he was upset is to put it mildly. He gave this nice little letter. It says, "Pursuant to presidential directive, you were ordered back on active duty." It's kind of an interesting telegram. Yeah, I'm sure it was. Yeah, no doubt. So, anything else? I don't have any waiting. So, if you got anything else, let me know, and we'll keep going.
No. I just wanted to put out those 2 points and then talk to you about some of that stuff.
Oh, well,
because the FBI and the CIA, all right, but people don't realize this. One of the things the Patriot Act did is when you take a look at like the drones, right, the Predator drones and everything, those were all NSA assets initially, right? They were directly controlled, and there is one more thing that I do want to explain to people about the NSA.
Okay.
Right? The NSA is not like the FBI and the CIA. The NSA is a department of the military. They fall under the DoD. This is why the NSA director is always a sitting active duty officer. It's not a civilian that you put in charge of the NSA, because the NSA is military intelligence, right? They fall under a different realm. Now, many people that work within the NSA are civilians, but they're civilians that technically work for the Department of Defense, or a contracted or subcontracted thereof. All right. And as a result, they don't work the same way. There is no officer. I was arrested by the NSA. Here's my NSA badge. There is no NSA badges. Okay. Right. And they don't have other things that they do. They have capabilities, right? But they're supposed to be within the military. The drones that everyone talks about, once they turned the Patriot Act allowed the CIA to actually start taking control of the drone program, and it became a CIA asset through the NSA, saying, okay, these are military operations now that we can control and direct. So when they talk about a drone strike and they're upset about a drone strike, it's not really a military strike, even though it's military equipment that's being used.
Now, and so they're under, and the CIA is technically civilian control.
Yeah, it's completely outside the control of the
executive branch. Well, and also I also that they talk about, okay, we have these 17 intelligence agencies, right, of different in theory.
There's 3. Okay,
yeah.
Let me explain this to everybody. There's 3 intelligence gathering agencies for the most part. That's the FBI, the CIA, and the NSA. They are the ones in charge of developing intelligence. All the other agencies use intel gathered from those 3 to collate.
And that is where they use their very carefully worded letter to obfuscate the fact that they may have other agencies using their data. And that's, if the, who was it? Was it the White House advisor under Obama was able to use that data?
Yes.
Who clearly not part of the NSA, but they were using that data, right? The whole unmasking fiasco.
Yep.
So they're carefully worded letter. Well, the NSA does not investigate domestic people. We only investigate in foreign actors. But it doesn't matter who the NSA what the NSA does. It matters who uses your data.
It's more than just that, because the one thing that they used to do. Well, notice this word "used to." All right, the NSA has surveillance capabilities that are just incredible. Okay, I'm not gonna sugarcoat this at all. It is.
They're listening to you right now, so let's.
If it's electronic medium,
right.
If there's an electron moving around, they are trying to capture Mr. Electron, right, and listen in. Okay.
Right.
The problem isn't the surveillance capabilities, because you're always going to need those surveillance capabilities, especially when you're targeting, enemies of the United States. The problem is recording. The problem is the storage. All right, because if you got storage, you can go back, and now one of the things that I used to work on is something called Honeywell 96B wideband recorder. Just so you understand what it's a tape recorder that records on 1.5 wide tape, multiple tracks, and they were sweeping a bandwidth of 3 megahertz at a time. So like 3, 6, 9, 12 in a certain range, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they were recording this data on each track, right? And one recorder could record 42 tracks. You could then come back with somebody else who can then listen to these tracks to see what frequencies were being utilized. All right. And then, okay, if there's something in here, what is happening here in this frequency, right? Okay. What am I listening to? So it explains so you understand how this all works. If it was not a foreign asset, it couldn't be recorded, and you had to ignore the fact that it existed on that tape. When they changed that under the Patriot Act and started recording and built that huge ass facility in Utah, that's when they started really breaking the law, because what they were doing then is they're recording all that data that they then can sift through whenever they so desire. Even worse, when it's directed by other agencies, now they can sift through that data as well. So it was never, the problem isn't the surveillance capabilities in and of themselves, it's the recording and storage of that data.
And once they record and storage, they can go back and figure out who it is. And that's the whole process of unmasking, right?
Correct.
Okay.
That's exactly right.
Okay. And so, yeah, I mean, again, the way that, if someone's going out and telling Tucker that, well, yes, they're monitoring you, they're, which I'm assuming they're monitoring everything all the time, but the fact that somebody knows that this was part of his particular transmission or communication or whatever, they should not know that. No one should know that unless they have a warrant for a certain individual. But then again, sometimes the warrant is not necessarily good. Carter Page, and so they can do whatever the hell they want, pretty much, and they might get a slap in the wrist.
Well, it'd be one thing if the CIA and the FBI were using their own data. The fact that they now can redirect at any point in time and send direction to the NSA, right, to change them from the mission that they're doing, right, to target whatever element that they wish to target for whatever reason is already problematic, because it's taken away from the mission that they have. If they have to spend resources to do somebody else's mission, all right, then you're losing control of your own mission as it is. This is really something that's really been chafing the NSA, but to be honest, they've just been sitting back and taking it. And now it's only recently that they started doing things. Like I said, you have, up until recently, if something came out where somebody was questioning something from the NSA, their comment was always no comment. We don't comment on anything. That was their standard practice.
Fascinating. They commented on this one. That's amazing. That's amazing that they actually did that. So
yeah, they instructed us specifically. If somebody asks you about anything, you always say no comment.
Yeah.
Always.
Oh, yeah, that's probably a good policy.
Well, people do some stupid things, I mean, people come up with all sorts of things and tell us all sorts of tales on things that get out of control. For example, one thing that got out of control was we had a facility called United States Army Field Station Augsburg at the time, right, in Augsburg, Germany. And if you took a picture of it, if you ever take a look at any photos and everything, you'll see a huge DF array. All right, the direction finding array. It's a huge circular array. But the way it looks, these things somewhat look like missiles.
Oh,
right. So somebody told people that these were intercontinental ballistic missiles and medium-range ballistic missiles that were being stored there. And this got to Der Spiegel, which is one of the big papers in Germany, and they printed that they have this new weapons system out there.
Wow.
So we had people protesting, no nukes, all sorts of things at one point.
You got to be kidding me.
No. That's one of the reasons why it isn't always they're worried about secrets being divulged. Just where some people talk nonsense and come up with all sorts of shit.
And even if they didn't, they could big blow up missiles, big fake ones like that. Didn't they do that before? Having something
Yeah. They could do that.
that whole squadron of fake tanks and stuff. Anyway, all right, man. Well, that is some very interesting information. And what happened here? What happened? You're still on?
I am. Yeah. Did we lose everybody?
No. I was just looking on my monitor screen. Oh, because this monitor screen is like 8 hours behind. Okay, never mind. I'm like, it's not up to date. There we go. All right, there we're both there. Anyway, all right, man. Well, yeah, that's great information, and I appreciate you coming on, and nice seeing you in the chat all the time, and I'm glad that I put a permanent scar on your name with the hammer time, because I think everyone. I always funny because I see in the chat, if I don't catch you, inevitably I see someone putting in hammer time. In the chat, so that's perfect. So anyway, well, thanks, man. I appreciate it. Nice hearing your voice. And
thanks for having me.
Come on again sometime.
All right, thanks. Bye-bye.
Hi, man. Thank you. All right, so that was our friend MC.
Hammer time.
And with more things to scare us about. What's going on in the chat? Include black lesbian enema shower gift to that furry kitten. I don't know what this conversation is going to be. Wait, you should send it to me personally if it wasn't NDG midget fisting clown cake fart porn with a zebra. It doesn't. Okay. Y'all are making me nervous. I have no idea what the hell you're talking about there. Anyway, all right, gang. 8 minutes left, and no one's in the queue, so that's fine. I'm gonna finish up with something that I found interesting here that through the Ace of Spades. So we're gonna finish with this Lincoln thing about Lincoln. But if you haven't done so already, while you're thinking about it or while you hear my voice, throw a like in the like thing, or what do you do? Touch that little thumbs up thing down here. Do that thing. And if you haven't shared the stream out, that would be greatly appreciated. If you do that, you can do that before, during, and after the show. And wow, we got 45 people in here. So I'm going to finish just as we're thinking about the 4th of July. This is a interesting thing about Abraham Lincoln. There's a site called AbeLincolnHistory.com. In an early speech, which reveals Lincoln's attitude toward government, addressing a local chapter of the American Lyceum movement in Springfield, Illinois, a 28-year-old Lincoln delivered a surprisingly ambitious speech on a cold winter night in 1838. The speech was entitled "The Perpetuation of Our Political Institutions," and Lincoln, who had just been elected to a local political office, spoke on matters of great national significance. He made allusions to a recent act of mob violence in Illinois and also addressed the issue of slavery. Lincoln warned that mobs, or people who disrespected American laws and courts, could destroy the United States. Sounds familiar. Though Lincoln was talking to a small town audience of friends and neighbors, he seemed to have ambitions beyond Springfield and his position as a state representative. More than 25 years before Abraham Lincoln would deliver his legendary Gettysburg Address, the 28-year-old novice politician delivered a lecture before a gathering of young men and women in his newly adopted hometown of Springfield. William Herndon, who had become Lincoln's law partner in 1844, described the event this way, quote, "We had a society in Springfield which contained and commanded all culture and talent of the place. Unlike the other one, its meetings were public and reflected great credit on the community." The speech was brought out by the burning in St. Louis a few weeks before by a mob of a Negro. Lincoln took this incident as a sort of text for his remarks. The address was published in the Sangamon Journal and created for the young orator a reputation which soon extended beyond the limits of the locality in which he lived. In the speech, Lincoln discussed in glowing terms the political system established by the founding fathers, but warned of a destructive force from within. He asked his listeners, Shall we expect some transatlantic military giant to step the ocean and crush us at a blow? Never. All armies of Europe, Asia, and Africa combined, with all the treasures of the earth, our own accepted, in their military chest, with a Bonaparte for a commander, could not by force take a drink from the Ohio or make a track on the Blue Ridge in a trial of 1,000 years. At what point, then, is the approach of danger to be expected? I answer, if it ever reach us, it must spring up amongst us. It cannot come from abroad. If destruction be our lot, we must ourselves be its author and finisher. As a nation of free men, we must live through all time or die by suicide. Also, Lincoln indirectly blamed slavery for lawlessness in the United States. In this context, he warned that, quote, whenever the vicious portion of our population shall be permitted to gather in bands of hundreds and thousands and burn churches, ravage and rob provision stores, throw printing presses into rivers, shoot editors, and hang and burn obnoxious persons at pleasure with impunity, depend on it, this government cannot last. By such things, the feelings of the best citizens will become more or less alienated from it, and thus it will be left without friends or with too few, and those few too weak to make their friendship effectual. Lincoln also warned then that a tyrant could overtake the American political system from within. Democrats. He said, quote, it is to deny what the history of the world tells us is true, to suppose that men of ambition and talents will not continue to spring up amongst us. And when they do, they will as naturally seek the gratification of their ruling passion as others have done before them. The question then is, can that gratification be found in supporting and maintaining an edifice that has been erected by others? Most certainly it cannot. Many great and good men sufficiently qualified for any task they should undertake may ever be found whose ambition would inspire to nothing beyond a seat in Congress, a gubernatorial or a presidential chair, but such belong not to the family of the lion or the tribe of the eagle. What think you these places would satisfy an Alexander, a Caesar, or a Napoleon? Never. Towering genius disdains a beaten path. It seeks regions hitherto unexplored. It sees no distinction in adding story to story upon monuments of fame erected at the memory of others. It denies that it is glory enough to serve under any chief. It scorns to tread in the footsteps of any predecessor, however illustrious. It thirsts and burns for distinction, and if possible, it will have it, whether at the expense of emancipating slaves or enslaving free men. It is unreasonable then to expect that some man possessed of the loftiest genius, coupled with ambition sufficient to push it to its utmost stretch, will at some time spring up among us, and when such an one does, it will require the people to be united with each other, attached to the government and laws, and generally intelligent to successfully frustrate his designs. Distinction will be his paramount object, and although he would as willingly, perhaps more so, acquire it by doing good as harm, yet that opportunity being past and nothing left to be done in the way of building up, he would set boldly to the task of pulling down. So the background of this is, and I'm not going to read the address, but I'll just give you a little background here. The American Lyceum movement began when Josiah Holbrook, a teacher and amateur scientist, founded a volunteer educational organization in his town of Millbury, Massachusetts in 1826. Holbrook's idea caught on, and other towns in New England formed groups where local people could give lectures and debate. By the mid-1830s, more than 3,000 lyceums had been formed from New England to the south and even as far west as Illinois. Josiah Holbrook traveled from Massachusetts to speak at the first lyceum organized in central Illinois in the town of Jacksonville in 1831. The organization was hosted as Lincoln's lecture in 1838. The Springfield Youth Men's Lyceum had probably been founded in 1835. It held its first meetings at a local schoolhouse, and by 1838 had moved its meeting place to a Baptist church. The Lyceum meetings in Springfield were usually held on Saturday evenings, and while the membership comprised of young men, females were invited to the meetings, which were intended to be both educational and social. The topic of Lincoln's address, the perpetuation of our political institutions, seemed like a typical subject for a Lyceum address, but a shocking event that occurred less than 3 months earlier, only about 85 miles from Springfield, surely inspired Lincoln. Elijah Lovejoy was a New England abolitionist who settled in St. Louis and began publishing a stridently anti-slavery newspaper in the mid-1830s. He was essentially chased out of town in the summer of 1837 and crossed the Mississippi River and set up shop in Alton, Illinois. Although Illinois was a free state, Lovejoy soon found himself under attack again, and in November 7th, 1837, a pro-slavery mob raided a warehouse where Lovejoy had stored his printing press. The mob wanted to destroy the printing press, and during a small riot, the building was set afire, and Elijah Lovejoy was shot 5 times. He died within an hour. Elijah Lovejoy's murder shocked the entire nation. Stories about his murder at the hands of a mob appeared in major cities. An abolitionist meeting was held in New York City in December 1837 to mourn for Lovejoy was reported in newspapers throughout the East. Abraham's Lincoln neighbor in Springfield, only 85 miles away from the site of Lovejoy's murder, certainly would have been shocked by the outburst of mob violence in their own state. And it is perhaps no surprise that when Lincoln spoke to the Young Men's Lyceum in Springfield that winter, he made mention of the mob violence in America. What may seem surprising is that Lincoln did not refer directly to Lovejoy, instead mentioning acts of mob violence generally. Quote, accounts of outrages committed by mobs form the everyday news of the times. They have pervaded the country from New England to Louisiana. They are neither peculiar to the eternal snows or of the former, nor the burning suns of the latter. They are not the creature of climate, neither are they confined to the slaveholding or non-slaveholding states. Alike, they spring up among the pleasure-hunting master of Southern slaves and the order-loving citizens of the land of steady habits. Whatever then their cause may be, it is common to the whole country. Kind of sounds like concerned about mob violence for causes now, doesn't it? What? The likely reason Lincoln did not mention the mob's murder of Elijah Lovejoy is simply because there was no need to bring it up. Anyone listening to Lincoln that night was entirely aware of the incident, and Lincoln saw fit to place the shocking act in a broader national context. After noticing the menace, after noting the menace with very real threat of mob rule, Lincoln began talking of laws and how it is the duty of citizens to obey the law, even if they believe the law is unjust. By doing that, Lincoln was keeping himself apart from abolitionists like Lovejoy, who openly advocated violating the laws pertaining to slavery. And Lincoln did make a point of emphatically stating, quote, I do mean to say that although bad laws, if they exist, should be repealed as soon as possible, still they continue in force. For the sake of example, they should be religiously observed. Lincoln then turned his attention to what he believed would be a grave danger to America, a leader of great ambition who would attain power and corrupt the system. Unfortunately, the leader that we're doing right now is kind of invisible, right? We don't know who that leader is. We know that Joe Biden is the face of the leader. We don't know who the theys are. Remember we talked about the theys? The theys. Oh, they're going to get me. I'm going to get in trouble with them. I'm going to get in trouble if I do this. Oh, they gave me a list of people to call on. Who are they? Lincoln then turned his attention to what he believed to be the great. Oh, I'm sorry. He expressed the fear that Alexander or Caesar or Napoleon would soon rise in America, and speaking about his hypothetical monstrous leader, essentially an American dictator, Lincoln wrote lines which would be quoted often by those analyzing the speech in future years. It thirsts and burns for distinction, and if possible, it will have it, whether at the express of it emancipating slaves or enslaving free men. It is unreasonable then. It knows now. And in that sentence, you think about what's happening today. Okay. But change the words to whether they be racist or anti-racist. Change those words there. Is it unreasonable then to expect that some man possessed of the loftiest genius or virtue, I added that, coupled with the ambition sufficient to push it to its utmost stretch, will at some time spring up among us? It is remarkable that Lincoln uses the phrase emancipating slaves nearly 25 years before he would, from the White House, issue the Emancipation Proclamation. And some modern analysts have interpreted the Springfield Lyceum address as Lincoln analyzing himself and what kind of a leader he might be. What is apparent from the 1838 Lyceum address is that Lincoln was ambitious. When given the opportunity to address a local group, he chose to comment on matters of national importance. And while the writing may not show the graceful and concise style he would later develop, it does demonstrate that he was a confident writer and speaker, even in his 20s. And it is noteworthy that some of the themes Lincoln spoke about a few weeks before he turned 29 are the very same themes that would be discussed 20 years later during the 1858 Lincoln-Douglas debates that began his rise to national prominence. So if you want to read the Lyceum speech from when he was 28 years old, that will be in the link in the description down below. I don't have many articles out today, but that's kind of how it goes. The theys are the three queen bees, Harris, Rice, and Jill. It could be the use of they in those cases are different. The they that gave him a list is his advisors. The they that he will get in trouble with is his critics. His critics. Now, interesting, because I think it was with his I think the second was also with his advisors, because it's whenever he goes and speaks or answers questions that are not on the approved list of questions. Whenever he does a sidebar or answers a sidebar question is usually when he says, this might get me in trouble. I don't know if it's critic. I think it's his. I think that too is his advice. That too are the people who telling him what to say. That too are the people who are giving him lists and note cards that are very well typed out in very large fonts. But is it just me? I don't know. Anyway, people, it is time for me to end this show. Thank you to our guests today, Canon Hotep and MC.
Hammer time.
For joining the show and bringing us a couple topics to talk about. And hopefully you guys have a fantastic 4th of July weekend. I am going to be streaming at least once, well, for sure Monday on the federal holiday, because that's Monday. And I stream Monday through Friday, 10 o'clock Eastern, 9 o'clock Central. But before you do anything else right this moment, please take a second, just a tiny bit of time, a moment, a hairpin of, I was going to say a linchpin. That doesn't make any sense. A tiny, tiny moment, fragment of your day to click the like button. We would greatly appreciate that. And we'll be back Monday for sure. And maybe Saturday. We might do it. I might be doing a trail stop stream tomorrow. Lady Boomer and I might also be joining one of our weekend workers at the trail stop and do one of those streams. So look forward to that. Otherwise, come back Monday. If you like what we do, hit the like button, hit the share button, and you can throw a couple bucks in the tip jar 24 hours a day on Streamlabs, Cashapp, and Venmo, or just SuperChats during the show or whatever. And those of you who are able, I greatly appreciate it. Those who can't, greatly appreciate you just for showing up, because the show is free and always will be. Anyway, that's it for today, people. Definitely time for me to go. My name is Dawg Knight. And I'm out of here. Bye-bye.